In the mid-60s, Tsuburaya Productions successfully became a television powerhouse with their shows Ultra Q, Ultraman, and Kaiju Booska. For their next Ultra show, the studio was looking to take inspiration from the British show Thunderbirds, while commentating on the current times via alien invasion plots for a more older audience. If Ultra Q was about the unknown, and Ultraman was about imaginative adventures, this one would be about human society. However, because of Ultraman's popularity, TBS was demanding this next show to be some sort of successor to Ultraman. So, writer Tetsuo Kinjo began to work on a new outline that would feature an alien hero. On October 1st, 1967, we would all know this hero as Welcome back to my Ultra Reviews. Today we are talking about Ultraseven, a show that was able to make such an impact even within the Ultra series itself, having several spin-offs. But what I want to discuss today is how the show uses its extraterrestrial tales to tell very human stories. There will be a few spoilers, but with that out of the way, let's henshin to it!
君は一体何者だ。ご覧の通りの風来坊です。名前は？名前？そう、諸星団とでもしときましょう。諸星団?
It can be difficult for us to objectively discuss and criticize human society for the sheer fact that we are humans ourselves. But what if we are to follow someone who is from the stars above and lived among us humans with a borrowed name? The show presents us with our protagonist, Dan Moroboshi, played by Koji Moritsugu, who is secretly the M78 cartographer number 340. However, his true form would soon be given the name Ultraseven by his Earth comrades. Dan spends most of his time on Earth fighting alien invaders with the Ultra Guard, and only transforming to Ultraseven when the threat becomes too much to handle. Dan, being an alien himself, not only grants him knowledge and insight, but also the ability to communicate with fellow aliens and try to resolve things peacefully. It also shows us to see humanity from the outsider perspective, to see both the beauty and sometimes horror humanity is capable of. Despite it all though, Dan still believes in humanity and is willing to transform into the Hero 7 to save us from destruction. Us viewers at home will get to celebrate his heroic deeds as we sing along to his iconic theme, composed by Toru Fuyuki. But 7 isn't the only one defending humanity. Unlike the 3SP, who was more of an investigation group, the Ultra Guard, sometimes referred to as the Ultra Garrison, are more of a military organization. They are tasked to defend the Earth from any outside threat. The core members of the Ultra Guard serve as Dan's friends and allies to 7. Particularly, Dan shares a lot of his time with member Ann Yuri, played by Yuriko Hishimi. It could be argued whether or not there are romantic feelings between the two, but they are usually the two members of the Ultra Guard who have peaceful encounters with aliens. Anne could also serve as Dan's emotional anchor and voice of reason when his faith in humanity wavers. While most of the time the Ultra Guard operates under good intentions, there are times when their goal of protecting humanity blinds them to how horrible their actions can be, such as the time they invented a weapon that could destroy planets. An obvious commentary on nuclear weapons. Ultimately, the Ultra Guards are soldiers fighting a war against invaders, which can lead to insightful discussions about war and even bigotry. Significant at the time, as not only was this 20 years after World War II, but also during a time when Cold War tensions were escalating in Asia. These events led to the show and its team wanting to tell more human stories. While this is a sci-fi show of grand battles and espionage missions between Earth and alien invaders, it is also a show about humanity. The show gives us scenarios where things aren't black and white, and can ask us viewers to reflect on it. Take episode 6 titled Dark Zone, directed by Kazuo Mitsuda for example, where a bad situation led to both Earth and the alien Pegasa to try and take drastic measures to protect their homes. Or episode 8 titled The Marked Town, directed by Akio Jisoji, where alien Metron's experiment was to see how to erode trust within humanity itself, while the narrator, voiced by Hikaru Urano, made an eerie statement at the end saying, "It will never happen because we already lack trust within each other." These sci-fi war stories are sometimes commentaries and satire about the state of the Earth at the time. These stories have aged very well, as we still encounter similar issues today. Also, the aliens test humanity, and even Ultraseven himself, in multiple ways. These situations are sometimes shown not from the Ultra Guard, or even Dan's perspective, but the average person who happened to stumble upon these extraterrestrial events. Some of the best episodes of the show is an exploration into humanity, whether it be on a grander or more personal scale. While we might question our society's actions, we also must keep hope that one day peace can be achieved. It is a goal that we all should hope to strive towards to, even without the aid of Ultraseven. As Seven, he had fought countless foes, with even some of them coming close to killing him, although he managed to survive it all. The toll those battles took on his body built up over time, until he reached his limit. The two-part finale, The Biggest Invasion in History, once again directed by Kazuo Mitsuda, Dan had physically reached exhaustion. Because of his alien body, he could not be treated on Earth. While that is happening, a new alien threat has appeared on a global scale. So, Dan was left to make a crucial choice. Leave the Earth so he can recover, while possibly leaving humanity to their doom, or to risk his own life by transforming into Ultraseven one last time. Dan's time on Earth, and his time with humanity, made him decide to fight what he would believe to be his final battle. It was within this joint effort between Seven and the Ultra Guard that the invader was defeated, proving that humanity itself was worth fighting for. And that's what the show has been leading up to. Even though humanity is capable of terrible things, we are capable of so many great things and can come together to protect our home. And our hero Ultraseven, or should I say the man Dan Moroboshi, got to experience what it meant to be human firsthand. Dan also showed us all that even if we come from different places, or in this case different planets, we are all living beings who are capable of both pain and love. And perhaps one day, we can live in a world where humans no longer discriminate. With that, the miracle man who came from the stars makes his way back to M78 as his team, and us as the viewers wish him a safe journey home. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. I wish I could do this a bit longer video on Ultraseven, but just due to time and life situations that can happen. But at the very least, I do want to give I want to dedicate this outro to sort of my unscripted feelings about the show and the character of Dan and Ultraseven, because while this was definitely shorter on like my Ultraman video, I just want to state that Ultra 7 does hold a very important part. Like, does hold a lot of, like, you know, it's hard to describe the words, but it's I feel as like it can be just as important as Ultraman, both in a grander scheme and as well as personally, because you know, I was really touched with a lot of these stories in Ultra 7. Like the Super Weapon R1 episode, the one with Giron and the weapon that can destroy planets. That's really like impactful. You know, like it's sort of like a thought-provoking one, and one that, sorry, I got like an itch on my beard. But yeah, no, that's like, it's a really thought-provoking one that I appreciate, as well as like, because, you know, it's obvious, you know, commentary on nuclear weapons, as I mentioned in the review, but it makes you think. I really appreciate Ultra 7 as a show being, you know, really taking on the issue. You know, it's like, you know, humanity isn't all that great. We screwed up, and it's like it criticizes its own defense force that I haven't really seen in other Ultra shows at all. And that's something I really appreciate, that it's like Ultra 7 shows that we're not above criticism. I love the more mature show, you know, Ultra 7 is compared to some of the other Ultra entries. And I don't mean like mature as in like graphic wise, you know, violence or wise. I mean like in genuine maturity. Like there's a sense of maturity to Ultra 7. That's not present in some of the Ultra series, especially in some of the more later ones, like in the new generation ones. You know, and some I appreciate. And even though I would like to see a bit more variety of stories than just alien invasion plots, I do understand why they are alien invasion plots, first and foremost. Because it is a commentary about the geopolitical, you know, the geopolitics that were going on in the world at the time, and also Japan's personal struggles and the people who grew up, you know, during the war, or, you know, fought in the war, as specifically World War II, because this is the generation that's like, the generation making Ultra 7 was the generation that, you know, lived through World War II firsthand. Either they grew up during it, you know, they were subjugated to, you know, to stuff homeland, or, you know, they were they were drafted into the war and they were fighting. Like, you take Honda, for example, he was drafted into the war, and then there's A.G. Tsuburaya, who was forced to make propaganda pieces for, you know, for the military. You know, so with this being a more mature show, I'm glad that they were able to kind of like get their feelings out there about war and stuff, because, well, yeah, they do want to showcase, you know, these fun, epic events. You know, they still want to keep it a fun show, but they're not afraid to get a bit more serious, a bit more dark, and show just some of like the inhumanity that they witness, and also the inhumanity that human society is capable of. It's, you know, this, like, all this is like some of the reasons why Ultra 7 is like in my top 5, and it's one that like I tater off whether it's my favorite or not my favorite, but it's a consistent top 5, because there's like so many great stories in Ultra 7, and fantastic direction. Like, I think this is where Akio Jisoji was like fully unleashed within the Ultra series, like where he before the Heisei era, I should say, like this is where he finally kind of found his vision. I mean, the Marktown is undoubtedly one of my favorite episodes in the entire franchise, just for the cinematography and alone, like the way that episode is shot makes it, like, when I first watched it, I couldn't believe this came out in the late 60s for how visually stunning it looked. I do have a lot of high regards, and I wish I could fit more details or trivia in, like, Amagi, who is one of the Ultra Guard members, is played by Ben Faria, who is Ultraman, so, and, little, probably, little cool, personal trivia, I guess. I first met Ben Faria at G-Fest 2012. I think that was his first stateside convention, and for pictures, he actually wore his old Ultra Guard uniform. And when I met him, I didn't watch Ultraseven at the time, or should I say when I first met him, because I met him once again at All Monsters Attack earlier this year in 2023. So he's a very nice man, he's a very awesome dude. If you ever get to go to con, and he's there, I highly recommend going there. He's such a great, genuine human being. But yeah, and then more on a personal note, I relate more to the Ultras that are, that have human forms rather than the ones that fuse with Ultraman or get their get Ultra powers, because I'm someone who's on the autism spectrum. I am autistic. So I'm kind of an outsider in terms to this neurotypical society we live in. So getting to root for protagonists that are outsiders, who are able to look into human society, the neurotypical human society, and we get to witness it. I appreciate those characters a lot, even though it does run into the stereotype that, autism, aliens, but obviously that wasn't the intention of the show. In fact, autism, I doubt they had much knowledge of autism in 1967. Not as much as we do today, so they weren't they obviously weren't making an autistic character, an alien, but it's still something I appreciate, getting to, I feel a bit represented in these, and in Ultras like Dan, Ultraseven, or Mirai, aka Ultraman Mebius, who are Ultras in a human form and don't necessarily, know all the how-tos of human society, and also are able to kind of criticize human society as an outsider, and there's also just some a lot of these aliens that Dan talks to, they also get human forms, so and that's an interesting aspect to it too, these outsiders, in this earth, it's, I'm trying to get my thoughts into words, but yeah, it's this outro section's going to be super long because, these are my unfiltered thoughts about the series, I should probably wrap it up soon, but it's just, Ultraseven is such a beautiful show, one of the best in the Ultra series. It's not without its faults, and not every episode lands, but the episodes that do land, they really land, and there's a reason why Ultraseven is such the icon that he is today, where he is alongside Ultraman. It's not that he's under Ultraman's shadow. No, he's rather right next to him in personality, or even sometimes he's more famous or more iconic than Ultraman. In some cases, that can be argued. But yeah, it's if you ever want to watch Ultraseven, now's the time. It's available on Pluto TV, Tubi TV. You can get on Blu-ray for cheap. Please watch this series. It's fantastic. anyways, if you listen to all my rambling, my unscripted rambling, I highly thank you, And again, I wish I could do more for this video, but life is life, So I thought, even if I can't do more on the scripted side, I'll do something for the unscripted side, because I really do want to show my appreciation, and I hope at least I do hope that the scripted part still shows how much I appreciate and adore the show. But in case it didn't, that's why I'm doing this unscripted outro section. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much for listening to me talk about Ultra 7. If you want to watch more of my stuff, I got more YouTube videos. I'm hoping to get the next Ultra reviews done next month, and probably late next month, and then I hoping to get some Kamen Rider reviews out within this month and next month, because I'm almost done. I'm like more than halfway done through with my Amazon watch, and I want to get that done in time for its anniversary. And then Kamen Rider Stronger, which I'll watch as soon as I'm done with Amazon. That's another relatively short series, so I feel like I can possibly get that out in November or December, possibly, but I don't want to make too many promises. But yeah, follow me on my socials as well: Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. It's all under Henshin John. I'm also live streaming pretty consistently on Mondays and or Tuesdays. One day is usually for gaming and the other days for drawing. So yeah, it's I just really, it's been over a year since I started this channel, and I'm like, as I'm recording this, I have over 400 subscribers. I'm almost to 450 subscribers, and that means a lot, That means a lot, it's not all, like statistically speaking, that's not massive, but it's massive for me, because if you are all in a room, it would look massive to me. Like even just 100 people would look massive, that you're all watching my content. Well, I don't even like to say content, but my videos, and appreciating my art. That means a lot. And I'm glad that I get to nerd out about my special interest, which is tokusatsu. And I'm also hoping to eventually branch a bit off from Ultraman and Kamen Rider a bit, because I know I've been pretty focused on Ultraman and Kamen Rider, and I do want to branch out a bit. Like I plan on talking about Godzilla in November. I would like to do a Gamera video, and Sentai is a weird one. Sentai is like, it's not a series that always piques my interest, but I might work on a Sentai video for next year. But yeah, I hope to talk about other tokusatsu series or properties other than just Ultraman or Kamen Rider. But yeah, anyways, I gotta wrap this video up. I genuinely appreciate you all for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Comment if you're here this far. Comment and tell me what you love about Ultra 7, either as the hero or as the show, and what Ultra 7 means to you. I would love to hear it. But most importantly, I hope you have a good day. Take care and shwatch.